Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Tuesday, October 10th, and it is week 7 in college football. We are talking right now with Al McMordie from BigAl.com. He's going to handicap a game that comes this Saturday in college football. You choose the tough ones, Al McMordie. You're going to take Oklahoma, Texas. Obviously, this is a very interesting game, a high-profile game from a handicapping perspective. As I sit here, I don't know how to make heads or tails of this game. Obviously, Oklahoma coming off the huge loss against Iowa State. Do they bounce back here, or does that loss completely take the wind out of their sails? Texas looking better. They're off an overtime win against Kansas State last week where they needed overtime to cover, but they're clearly looking pretty good. Ellinger is giving them a big boost at quarterback, so I guess at first glance right here, before I hear what you have to say, I guess if you gave me a free play right now, I would take a shot with Texas, I guess. It's probably going to be a competitive game. Oklahoma has some issues. As great as Baker Mayfield is, they have some issues defensively, so I guess I'd lean Texas at +8. What's your take on this one, Al?
Well, if you recall, Peter, last week we talked right here on the show about LSU versus Florida. That was the game where LSU was coming off that huge upset loss to Troy State, where they were favored by 20.5 and lost to the Trojans. So now you have this game where the Sooners lost by 7 points as a 31-point favorite at home to Iowa State. So they failed to cover the point spread by a whopping 38 points. So just like last week with LSU Florida, this exceptionally poor performance sets up our play on this Saturday. And one of the things I like to do, Peter, is play on college football teams off an upset loss in which they failed to cover the spread by 35 or more points. And if our team is playing an opponent off a straight up and against a spread win, then our system has gone 62-36 ATS going all the way back to 1980. So that's one reason I really like the Sooners to bounce back. Another is that Oklahoma has quietly dominated away from home in the regular season when it plays winning teams. It's 22-5 straight up, 21-6 against the spread in this situation, including a perfect 10-0 straight up and against a spread when priced from -3.5 to -10 points. I'm going to take Oklahoma in this Red River Rivalry.
All right. The difference between this one and the LSU game, though, at least when I think about it, my first thought on it is that, well, first of all, Florida is a pretty uninspiring team in general to me right now. They're the kind of team that just kind of finds ways to lose, whereas Texas looking pretty impressive, at least based on what we saw against Kansas State, and also the injury situation in that game greatly favored LSU. LSU is getting some guys back. Florida, of course, as we know, has been bitten by the injury bug with some key situations, and that is, that's not the case here. So I agreed with you on LSU. I'm not saying I disagree with you here. I'm just saying I'm still not necessarily convinced. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like Florida was
And then the flip side of that, of course, is that Oklahoma was a third-ranked team in the country, which is a far cry from what LSU had done,
right,
for the season. So for me, it's just one game. Oklahoma obviously pulled a clunker last week, but I like teams that have, especially teams with a good pedigree that aren't, on really, really bad losing streaks. When they have a game where they just, wet the bed, so to speak, they bounce back. And this is still an Oklahoma team that's, 3-2 ATS on the season. So I like the Sooners here in the spot to bounce back big.
Yeah, all right, including an awesome performance against Ohio State. I mean, that was just a few weeks ago as well, so we can't completely throw that one out. Al McMordie liking Oklahoma, giving 7.5 right now. It's a split line, 7.5 or 8. Al McMordie liking Oklahoma -7.5, -104 right now at Pinnacle. Great analysis, Al McMordie. We'll see how this one turns out. I'll be very interested to see if there's any notable line movement on this one or if it closes at 7.5. Al McMordie, tell us about your website, BigAl.com.
Sure, Peter. I've been in business since 1992, and folks can go to BigAl.com, get all of my top selections in college and pro football. Last season, we were up 64.80 stars on our top-rated college and pro plays, coming off a nice week in football, including a big play on Monday night on the Chicago Bears. That was our Monday Night Football game of the month. This week, we're going to probably have our first 5-star play of the football season, and folks can go to BigAl.com and click on Picks for Sale. And if you want to get complimentary selections every day, we have not 1, not 2, but 4 free plays every day, 2 from myself, 1 from Larry Ness, and 1 from Scott Spreitzer. So go to BigAl.com and click on Free Picks.
Thanks so much, Al.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.